Peace. Islam. Sheekamauga Alamassee-El. Coming at y'all live. Deep down. Alamassee Arabian country. In the Alkamogi section, Arabian section, Arabian district. Always. Standing in front of a historic Confederate statue. You're gonna find these all over the South, just saluting to the real ones, saluting to the riders, saluting to the old republic, because we all know that the Confederacy was the old republic, and the Confederacy was nationwide. It was based in the South mainly, after a lot of disagreements around the time of the 1850s. But we know that the Confederacy was really just representing the old republic, the conservative echelon of what the original American population. So just want to salute to that. And now it's real strange that all of a sudden throughout America they're on a crusade to tear these historic statues down, and they act like they've come to some type of moral understanding, or they've advanced themselves morally. We all know that's far from the truth. The real reason why they want to tear down a lot of these statues, rename forts, like recently I heard they renamed Fort Lee to some screwball stuff. I don't even, some crazy stuff. It don't even make no sense. But they renamed Fort Lee. They've been tearing down these statues left and right. And the real reason why all of a sudden, it ain't got nothing to do with no fake racist, or we don't want to be racist anymore, or none of that stuff. The reason why they want to tear down this stuff is because now, just through doing the research and coming into knowledge itself, we know that the Confederate constituency and the people who were the leaders in that demonstration, they were of the phenotype of yours truly. It was mostly a Mississippian demonstration. It just was. It's just facts. You know what I mean? So if they can't pretend, if they can't put a certain phenotype and act like these people were the real Confederates, now they want to tear them down. That's all it is. Because if they can pretend, it's all good. And if they can scare you with your own science and your own symbols and all of that, it's all good. But now all of a sudden they want them down. So don't never feel like, if you got knowledge yourself, don't ever feel like you gaining something by them tearing these historic monuments down, because these are your ancestors. They fought and died for this. And this is how you can tell who the Confederates were. Again, because if you look at the wars and the terrorism that happened post-1865 to a lot of the constituency and the residents who domiciled in the South, who are of our phenotype. Common sense will tell you that we lost the war. So we started, they were running up in, trying to get land, and whoever didn't want to give up the land and get taxed to death, they were just running up on you. You had to shoot it out. It is what it is. That's the wild, wild west way. But as real Americans, original Americans, that's fine with us, man. We ain't got no problem gunslinging and doing what we gotta do, because we wild like that. You know what I mean? So it's never nothing. All that fake Jim Crow nonsense. So we were so scared and blase. Bro, let me tell you something, man. War and battle and conflict and all that. That's an American thing, man. We ain't never laid down. It's always been bullet for bullet with us. We've always been well armed. Even though everybody ran down and thought that they could handle us, we still here. So don't get it messed up. You know what I'm saying? And then I wanted to salute to the mighty Chickasaw, the Chickasaw. A lot of the so-called, what they call the Confederate battle flag and everything, a lot of that they don't like to admit that originates from the kind of the Chickasaw demonstration. The rebel Chickasaw, the Tusalagi, they call them Cherokee, but the real name is Tusalagi, if you really want to be real, because they were Muslims. So that's Tusalagi. The so-called Chickasaw, they were the ones who, they wasn't really with allowing settlement past the proclamation line of 1763, as was agreed with King George III. After the so-called United States was formed, they wasn't really with all that, so they became rebels and they held it down for a long time up in North Georgia, Tennessee, and let me tell you, the Chickasaw, it's not it's not the Hollywood version. I'm not the Chickasaw. The Sheekamauga, these rebels, these Muslims, if one was to just take a time machine and appear before you today, it would look just like yours truly. That's the Chickasaw. So when you go to Tennessee, in that area, in North Georgia and all that, and you see like places like Lake Sheekamauga and all that, Lake Sheekamauga, you need to think about a brother like yours truly. That's who they were. They were the rebel Muslims, you know what I mean? The fighting braves. So don't get it messed up. But anyway, I just wanted to salute to the Confederates. We want to preserve the demonstration as long as we can. This is the historic Monroe County Courthouse. They have an official history on this building. You see the elaborate noble architecture. As always, a very Southern thing, an American thing, of course. But they have an official history of this. But you have to take a lot of that. They have an official history of how and when this building was so-called constructed and everything. But you got to take a lot of that with a grain of salt, because we already know that there was a mass cover-up of a prior civilization coming after 1865, and that's what Reconstruction was all about, in eugenics and rewriting history and trying to get, again, the phenotype like yours truly out of the history books. You know what I'm saying? Because of course history is always so-called written by the winners. So we don't know when this was built, but regardless of when it's built, when it was constructed, which personally I'm pretty sure was constructed prior to 1865. We know if we see architecture like this, we know that Mississippian carpenters, bricklayers, and master masons were able to, put these type of structures together. That's just, it's in our blood. We elaborate like that, and you ain't got to go, if you want to see how the corporate culture operates, just go visit your local Walmart, a big square cube. You know what I mean? All of the newer corporate type of buildings, all the suburban type of cookie cutter type of places, they all have the square buildings, the subdivisions. They all look the same. You know what I'm saying? That's what they build. This right here, this magnificent type of architecture, this is what we build. And again, the fact that they're not being built anymore, that's how you know that they have blacklisted the master masons, in America. Because nothing like this gets built anymore. So anyway, but that's it is what it is. But I just want to take this little drop to salute some of the master teachers out there. And in recent years, you've had these I call them young punks, but you've had these people come out of nowhere, all on YouTube and all on social media, and they again, it's great to see Asiatics and Mississippian people coming into knowledge of self and realizing that their native land is the land under their feet. That's all gravy. But a lot of these guys, for whatever reason, they've created movements called like the Aboriginal movement, the so-called American Black Indian movement, and all this crazy stuff. Again, salute to coming into knowledge of self and realizing, your land is underneath your feet and not in some foreign place like we were all kind of taught in the Marxist socialist school curriculums. But let me tell you something. I've had knowledge of self for a minute. I've been in the so-called conscious community since about 2007, man. And let me tell you something. I'm old enough I've been down in the game long enough to remember. Around that time, 2007, 2008, everybody, all the conscious and the master teachers were on a demonstration of Pan-Africanism. They were on a demonstration of kind of Kemet, more the Egyptian African demonstration, which, like I say, there's nothing wrong with that. All of these types of awakenings and understandings, they have their place in time to put people on the path. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm been around long enough to remember and recall that at that time, the only group in the conscious community that was telling Asiatics, Mississippian people, so-called people they would label so-called African Americans or so-called black, which is a misnomer, and so just always was some goofball stuff. I don't even know why people accepted those designations, because they don't make no sense. But the only group back in that time that was telling Asiatics from America that they were indigenous to America was the Moors. Literally, it was the Washita Moors and it was the Moorish Americans. They were the only ones pushing that demonstration back then. So any of you young punks that got on social media in the last few years and spoke and talked down on the Moors and talked down on Noble Drew Ali and all this, man, you really need hands and feet put on you first of all. But you need to just kill yourself. You know what I mean? You know, you're dishonoring your ancestors, and that's why a lot of y'all carry these generational curses, because just with a lot of our people in general carry these generational curses because you don't know how to honor your ancestors, and y'all want to disrespect the people that came before you, that were 10 toes down, that laid the platform and laid the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? And you wonder why you stay dealing with nonsense and stay with curses. So, and you know, they don't need to call none of y'all names. Y'all know who y'all are. You know what I mean? There's a big fat leader of the squad who's really like to run his mouth about the Moors and all that. No need to call your name. You know who you are, bro. But let me tell you something. And that's why we're about to call out the real masters, the real teachers who stayed 10 toes down. Because if you talking down on the Moors and you didn't and you don't have no sources and no prominent groups that had anything to say as far back as 1997, whereas we Moors can document, then man, you dead in the water. You know what I'm saying? You way out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. I want to say salute to a few master teachers that have stayed down and always told Asiatics that they were American, original copper-colored American. Hakim Bey, the great Hakim Bey. This man dropped the Moorish Paradigm video in 1997. That video is like maybe an hour and a half long, but it clearly instructs so-called people who are now misnomered as so-called black, African American, or whatever nonsense color crap they want to come up with next. It instructs them that they are indigenous to America. This is 1997. I want to say salute to Asir the Duke of Tears. This brother, when I first came into knowledge, he was pushing that demonstration. Back then, a lot of the metaphysicals and the master teachers, they were talking about Africa. They were talking about Kemet. They were talking about all of these foreign designations and steering our people across the water. Whether they knew better or not, it is what it is. But the brother Asir the Duke of Tears, he was on the purely American demonstration back right 2007, 2008. So salute to that brother. You know what I mean? I want to say salute to Alim Bey. That brother was on it back then. A real Washita brother. He was telling the truth about our nationality. Even I gotta say salute to Dr. Ali Muhammad. That brother was on that. He was kicking science on that back then. You know what I mean? Say salute again to the Washita Moors. They was kicking the science back then. You know, way back before any of you young punks that want to run your mouth and call yourself Aboriginal now, but you want to talk down on the Moors. If you ain't got a timeline of any one of you clowns, or any Aboriginal going back as far as 1997 with this demonstration, bro, kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? You look like a straight up clown, a straight up goofball, man. We ride for the Moors around this piece, partner, because they was the first in line and they stayed down. They didn't ever get off their square about their birthrights and where they came from, like a lot of y'all and y'all ancestors did. Pimping, you know what I'm saying? I want to say salute, brother, people, and folk. You know, that brother, I came into science with him in the recent years, but that brother done stayed down. He done dropped a lot of science. He very consistent. Y'all check him out. You know what I mean? Even going all the way back to Dr. York, he was back in the 90s. He called himself a Yamasee Moor. You know what I mean? Back in the late 90s. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, y'all gonna have to all pay y'all taxes to the Moors. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you need to salute the people who stayed down. A lot of y'all got off y'all square and y'all forgot where y'all came from. The Moors never forgot, and that's all Moab. You know what I mean? Preserving the covenant and staying down for their birthrights. So again, if you had any, and y'all know who y'all are. If y'all had any garbage, disrespectful things to say about Noble Drew Ali, you know, but you still trying to come around here and claim you used to be a Pan-African and you want to claim all of a sudden that you're indigenous to America, man, kill yourself, man. You, like I said, you really need hands and feet put on you. You know what I'm saying? Because way back when, in the real America, the Moors was the police. You know what I'm saying? The sheriffs. And you, trust me, you wouldn't have been able to run your mouth back then. But now y'all got all these other groups in the way protecting, and y'all can feel like y'all can run y'all mouth. Man, it's gonna get back to the old ways. Believe that. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. You ain't gonna be able to run. You ain't gonna be able to hide and just do whatever you want to do forever. You know what I'm saying? So, Also salute, brother Blackbeard Miraj, that brother, the Red Stick Family Demonstration. I definitely mess with y'all, man. Y'all keep pushing the line on that. And there's plenty of other master teachers, but I just wanted to salute a few. A few of the brothers that's done stayed down and stayed on their birthrights and never wavered, always stayed on their square. They never switched up for money or nothing like that. And now everybody else want to come in because it's in bold and they want to disrespect the originals. They don't work like that, partner. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work like that when you got a real one around. And let me tell you something else. I don't mind being the bad guy, the villain, the Barbary villain around it. I don't, nigga ain't gotta like me. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna push the line. Believe that. Cause ain't no fear up in here. You know what I mean? So just wanted to tap in on that, man. Salute to the master teachers. Salute to the real ones. And just wanted to acknowledge, check out the some of the last the standing Confederate statues. And one more tidbit I want to drop on y'all. Don't y'all find it funny that if you just really, and see, that's why you got to travel your land and get out of these schools and stop letting people with a foreign doctrine tell you about who you are. If you really get out here and travel your land, go town to town, especially in the Deep South, you're going to go to these towns and you're going to see these Confederate statues. But you're going to see that the town that the Confederate statue is in is like 60 to 75 to 80% Mississippian. You know what I'm saying? But they want to tell the Mississippians that they were slaves in the Confederacy. That don't make, come on, man. Let's just do the knowledge. Even this city I'm in right now, so-called Forsyth, so-called Georgia, is a majority of Mississippian city. But it's got a big Confederate statue in the middle of it, man. Come on, man. Come on, bro. You wasn't no slave, man. You was the boss. You was the boss in the Confederacy, pimping. You know what I'm saying? And y'all wonder why y'all keep getting denied reparations, bro. You know what I'm saying? These people know who you are. And you up here crying and whining and wasting time while they sitting up here just continuing to steal your birthrights, man. Get your mind right, pimping. But anyway, that's peace, man. Salute to the master teachers. And I'll tap back in with y'all later. Peace.